Well, we are live here in the studio with Walt Brinker. You know, sooner or later it's going to happen to most of us. And we're talking about car breakdowns. And Walt is here, who is the author of Roadside Survival, to give us some really good information on what to do if that happens to you. And Walt, you know, we were talking initially, you're saying initially here, it's not a matter of, it's a matter of when it's going to happen to someone, right? Because we can't think, oh, it's not going to happen to me.
There's two kinds of drivers. The first kind is they've already experienced a disabled vehicle.
Yeah.
And will again.
Yeah.
And those who will for the first time.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to happen to us either in either of those categories.
And there's 200 million drivers out there driving around, hoping they won't break down.
Yeah.
Every year, AAA has 30 million calls for assistance.
Okay.
And I can tell you that's a very small percentage of the total number of folks who break down.
Sure.
And so, and some folks say, well, why should I care about taking care of myself? I'll just call AAA.
Right.
Or somebody else like that. And my response to that is, those folks are good and do good work. I've seen them in action.
Yeah.
In the cities where they have their people. But outside in the hinterlands, between cities, they sometimes subcontract out the third team.
Sure.
And they aren't that great. So,
yeah, and here people are traveling on the roads for the holidays still this week, so this is definitely something they need to be paying attention to.
Something to think about is that 3/4 of people I stopped for, and I stopped for well over 2,000. I had 2 on Christmas Day, 3 the day after Christmas Day.
Okay.
On I-95, that's where I live.
Yeah.
But 3/4 of folks who break down have a tire problem. The blowout, loss of tread, or the tires just gone flat.
3/4 of the break. That's a significant amount.
It's huge.
Yeah.
The other 25% is a combination of running out of gas, the car overheats, you're locked out of your car, or there's somehow a break between the battery and the ignition system getting used to your
Sure.
So those are the 90% of breakdowns don't need a mechanic. If you know it, if you have a little
know what you're doing, and you've brought a plethora of things to kind of go through that people should be aware of and be familiar with if it happens to them.
Safety is huge. Proper triangle use.
Yes.
Shocks under the wheels so the car won't roll. Safety vest so you're reflected.
Yes.
This is a cool device. It's got a magnet. It's called a 9-in-1 safety puck. It's got different blinking patterns that is really good at night. Those are basic safety things.
Yeah, that we should have in the car, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks don't even want to get dirty. They won't change the tire because they don't want to get dirty. Here, use this
an old towel.
Old beach towel.
Yeah.
Spread it out. If you want to stay dry when it's wet on the ground, use an old tarp.
Good idea there.
This is the most basic tool here at all because 3/4 of all the stops are based on tires. The biggest culprit to blowouts is underinflation. If you got to have this as tire gauge, but you got to use it.
Yeah.
If you use it and compare the pressure in the tires to what showed on the driver's door jamb, there's a little decal down there, then use this device here, a 12-volt compressor powered by a battery to get it back up to the correct pressure.
Okay. Yep.
So many times when you, and gloves to protect your hands from wires that will be exposed with a blowout. Here's a short-handled lug wrench. Imagine the difficulty getting much torque on that lug nut. This is a cheater bar. Quadruples the length of that handle.
Yeah. So
anybody can get a tight nut off with a $10 cheater bar.
Wow. Okay. That's. I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah. I wouldn't even think I'd be strong enough, but with this, that will help you get those lug nuts off.
When you jack up a car, you don't want it to roll, so you use these. But also, you don't want the jack to be unstable, like in sand or muddy ground or on veg. So put this thing under it. It's an 8-inch by 8-inch, 1/2-inch thick treated plywood. Put the jack in the center of it, and then there's much more of a base to stabilize the jack.
Sure.
That's a low-tech solution.
And we're low on time, but you got jumper cables here. Obviously, something everybody should have in a vehicle.
Lock a spare key to your door in this box under your car. Have a spare can of gas empty, so if you have a problem,
you run out of gas.
You bring it gas to you.
Yep.
The battery clamps being tight. Here's the proper kind of wrench. It's a combination wrench. You can't use a big bulky monkey wrench because it won't work. But this is great.
All right. RoadsideSurvival.com is the website to go to get more information. Walt, very good tips and information. Get these in your car ASAP. All right. We'll be back after this break. You're watching WBTV News This Morning on Bounce.